What is behind the success of top real estate agents and mortgage lenders? What tactics, strategies, and lessons learned have they used to break through and achieve elite status? Top performing real estate and mortgage lenders from across the country answer these questions and so much more right here on Real Talk with Homes for Heroes. So get ready because we are about to get real. Now, here is your host of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes National Director, Abby Waltz.
Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to episode 57 of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes, where every week I am joined by one of the nation's top producing real estate agents and mortgage specialists willing to share the secrets and strategies behind their success. This week, I'm joined by George and Julie Green, the number 9 Homes for Heroes real estate specialists from across the country out of Louisville, Kentucky. George and Julie, also known as the Un-Realtors, have experienced growth in their business year over year ever since 2005. And in fact, they're on track this year, even through the COVID-19 pandemic, to double what they did last year. It's just incredible what they've been able to accomplish. In this episode, they share how having an abundance mindset and being present and in the moment with your clients can make all the difference in not only how you transact and do business, but how successful it makes you in building a massive amount of referral business too. There are golden nuggets all throughout our conversation together, like how they strategically follow up with their database of over 4,000 people. That's right, let that sink in for a second. And plus the systems that they use to consistently follow up face-to-face with over 300 people that are no joke, bringing them business and shouting their praises from the rooftops constantly. They'll share how they use their marketing and advertising dollars, not on new lead gen sources, but on strengthening their relationships with their sphere of influence and their past clients. They even share exactly what they do to turn their sphere of influence into referral makers, the systems that they use, their approach that focuses on enriching the lives of those that they already know instead of focusing on strangers that haven't yet met them and might not be a new deal. Get your pen and paper out because you're going to want to take so many notes on this one. And let's get real with George and Julie Green. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes, where each week I'm joined by the nation's top producing real estate and mortgage professionals willing to share their secrets and strategies behind their successes. As you can see, I've got very, very special guests that I'm going to introduce here shortly with me, which I'm super excited about. Thank you all so much for joining us. To those of you joining us live, thank you for joining us. Please use that chat feature or the Q&A section. We're going to be monitoring those throughout the show. If you've got questions along the way, or if you just want to share the love, or you've got a great takeaway that you've gotten throughout the entire show, we love to see that. And are looking for that throughout the show. If you're joining us on the recording, please feel free to drop a comment. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on your favorite podcast directory or even on our YouTube channel. So we are going to get this started. George, Julie, are you ready to get real?
You're ready, Abby.
Perfect. So George and Julie Green are top real estate professionals with us. They were number 9 in the country last year. They are well on their way to surpass that. I know you guys closed, I think it was like 29 last year, and I think you're at 28 for this year so far. So you're looking to double this year in Hero transactions alone, even through COVID, which is just, isn't that mind-boggling?
We're blessed. What can we say?
Yeah. I can't believe it either. We're just excited that, we're able to do that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to pick your brains on how you've been able to grow even through our COVID pandemic that we're experiencing. So you guys have been so successful with us. Having joined us just in 2018, you haven't been with us all that long. And you've been growing year over year. What do you attribute that success to?
Well, I think for us, the big thing is that we don't consider this a way to capture leads or to drum up business or something like that. It truly is something that we do because we want to give back, because we want to honor the heroes. And I think in large part that just kind of comes out in our work. And when we, are working with a hero, I think that they sense that. I think it's the ingenuity of it, because we're doing it because we want to help.
Yeah, and I think our whole support team, just all across the board, it has the same mentality. So when you have a great group like that, it creates constant referrals in and out to everybody that we work with.
Awesome. Yeah, you say not a lead gen type program. You're not treating it as such. Explain that a little bit. Like, what does that mean to you? How do you work? Not just Homes for Heroes, but I think you've kind of gone away with a lot of your lead gen components in general in the business. So what are you doing to prospect or generate leads, if you will, to have your business grow year over year?
Yeah, we are about 70% referral in one aspect of referral or another. And, I think why that really works for us compared to other lead generation techniques is just because that's how we present it to our friends and our clients, that we are a relationship team.
Right.
And relationship first, business second. And we're just all about, just connecting people and getting connected and asking for that business. And people understand that we have the heart of givers. And by having the heart of givers, they know that it's a trust situation where we can walk into a scenario and, they know they're going to be taken care of and not sold.
Yeah. The relationship always trumps the business, the deal, whatever happens with that, it doesn't matter. I can't tell you how many people we have in our database that we still keep in touch with that never did a deal with us, maybe never will, but that's okay. They're friends, they're connections. Ideally, maybe they will refer us, you know what I mean? But in the end, it's part, it's our reputation as well. It's who we are deep down inside, and it's how we want people to know us. And so we just try to stay true to that. And I never want what we do for a living to be about the money or the closing or the paycheck. I want it to be about how can we help people, and how can they know that about us, that we want to help them.
Yeah. I think a lot of our business practice gets summed up into a sermon that we heard many years ago from our pastor. And it was an open hands philosophy. And the whole conversation was about finances, but it really was more than finances. It was about time, heart, effort, energy. And the example was like, if you're not just an open giver and you take money or whatever and you put it in your hand in a clenched fist, like, yes, people can't take from you, but they also can't give. So when you live your life with an open hand, sometimes things, may come out, but you also are open and able to receive. So it's funny because I've used this over the years. Sometimes I'll be driving down the road like this and people are for sure honking at me or whatever. But for me, it's just about, all right, make sure you're being gracious in a situation and being open-handed, because it gets very easy to want to do this. And it takes time. But as people start to understand that you live that way, they are glad to bless you back and not just take.
Right.
And I think that's really, especially for me, helped my mentality with giving in general, not just through this program, but through our whole business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So smart. I think I see a lot of our top producers, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to speak with a lot of them, and they all come at it as an approach of abundance, right? As opposed to scarcity. They're not trying to hang on to things. They're just approaching it like, hey, I'm going to take care of my people and do the right thing, which is absolutely what you guys do. And it tends to bring in more business that way, right?
I think it does. I mean, our first Hero closing was within 7 days of starting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for those that are listening, you understand, the real estate process, it's not a 7-day process. But for us, the moment we signed on, it didn't matter, like, whether they were under contract, whether they knew it was coming, like, nothing mattered. It was, we're a part of this program. This is what we want to do. And it turned out they were also really good friends, which was cool, that we're heading off to become missionaries. But we got to bless them with this big check. And they're like, what is this for? Because we hadn't even rolled out the program yet, and what we were doing with it.
Which just goes to show they didn't use us because of the program too. And I don't ever want to be, I don't ever want to be put in that position where people are just coming to me because they feel like they can get some kind of, money back or something like that, And so that is, a really good example of the type of clients that we want to have, not somebody who wants to use us because they can get something out of it, but because they're using us because they know that they can trust us, because we know that we're going to put their needs first and the relationship there first. And that's how, you know, I want us to be known.
Yeah.
I truly believe that 95% of our clients would use us whether we were part of Homes for Heroes program or not. It's just a great way to bonus for them or give back. But that's,
most don't. It's not the first thing that we bring up. But we do in that initial meeting, especially with people we don't know, ask them if they are a hero, but typically they don't come to us necessarily because they know we do Homes for Heroes.
So that brings up the question, and then I'm going to get into some of the golden nuggets that you just shared. But why do it?
We want to give back. I feel like the heroes deserve it. I mean, there really is no other explanation other than it feels good when we give back. I believe that the people are very deserving that are getting these rewards, and I want them to know that what they do matters.
you know, it's funny, we laugh sometimes too, because when we look, we're surrounded by heroes in our life. Like Julie's an LCSW, social worker. Her mom, you know, was a nurse. Her dad was a teacher. Like everyone in our family and the members of our team, like everybody's touched within the hero side personally, except me, which is the funny part, right? Because I was a lifeguard. That's as good as it got for me. But, you know, we just have this connection to all the heroes that serve. And we are so honored that those that move forward when everybody else runs back is really big. And in our market, you know, we're in Louisville, Kentucky. We have Fort Knox close by, tons of hospitals, big school district. Like we're in a big community, and there's a lot of people that fall into that group, and they get really underappreciated with everything that's went on with pandemic and whatnot. There's just a need for love going back that direction, and for what we feel we are as people and what we like to do. This was just another outlet for us to be able to give when we have abundance, like you mentioned, and it works. It works for us.
That's awesome.
I just love the look on people's faces too. You know, we've heard some really cool stories just in the short time that we've been doing it of what people have done with this money. You know, one of my favorites, they did not know, they knew they were getting the reward, but they didn't know the exact amount. And the day of closing, they went and they had to replace all of their appliances in their new home, the kitchen. So we're sitting there at the, you know, closing table or whatever, and we hand them the check, and their mouths just drop, and we're like, "Is it enough? Like, what's the problem?
Like, are
you know,
disappointed? What's going on?"
And they said within $1, it was the exact amount that they had just bought all of those appliances for. Within $1, it was creepy. Like I just got cold chills. It was creepy, and you know, they believe it was a God thing, and I believe it was a God thing.
How cool. Yeah, those stories are really what propel us through the challenging deals that we all definitely see, for sure. Okay, so you're more relational, and you focus on loving on kind of not only your clients or your past clients, but also your sphere of influence, because you said you've got here's the golden nugget, the database, right, of people, even if they haven't transacted with you. So tell me more about your database. What are you using to keep track of them? And then how are you utilizing that to build relationships with them?
Well, this is fairly excessive, fair warning. You know, most of our marketing goes this way. So when other people say we spend a lot in advertising, our funds are spent in database. And this is Julie's wheelhouse and what she does. But we are also transitioning, so it's going to be extra, you know, but we have our main database, which was Top Producer. We are moving over to Chime. It's a long, slow movement because we've got about 4,000 people in our database, which is really massive. And that's a general database, people that we don't necessarily even know, just we've collected information. But we're also big fans of the Buffini system. I teach the Buffini system. You know, we've had the pleasure of being live at some just different in-person classes, and we also have that database, but we hone in that for our top 250. And we say 250, but it fluctuates. And we have a very specific system that we use. And that's what Julie is 100% in charge of, is that connection marketing with those top 250. And we laugh because a lot of those 250 people that are our top 250 have never used us to buy or sell a home. But to get in that database, you have to bought or sold a home, or referred us, or give us shout outs on social media. Like that's what it's about. Our cheerleaders get higher ranking than our past clients. They get higher ranking than our current clients, because we want to honor those that shout our names from the rooftops, not about who uses us as much, because they just carry a level of value that honestly that no one can compare to when they create multiple transactions for our group. You know,
we have one client who has actually referred 4 people to us that ended up in closings, but they themselves have never
bought a
used
house
us.
from us.
But they're obviously, they get a lot of love from us. If you're in our general database, you're going to be touched, when I say, you know, touch some kind of marketing to you about 3 times a month. It's all online. You know, we're not spending money on people we don't know. But the more we know you and the higher you rank in that Buffini system, the more other types of touches you're going to get as well, like phone calls, handwritten cards. We know everybody's birthday, house anniversaries. You know, we send just random. I remember we did a closing one time and the woman didn't have kids, but you know, she had this dog. She loved the dog. She talked about the dog all the time. So for her closing gift, we went to this specialty dog bakery, you know, and the dog got the closing gift, but she loved it. Just to give them that personal touch to let them know we're listening to you. We care about you. This is more than just a real estate transaction, and we're going to be in your life for a long time to come, hopefully, unless you kick us out.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's really important to understand is that it's more than just a transaction. It's so much more. Like, and Julie is amazing at this side that like she collects we're working on kids' birthdays for our entire database, and we're going to find a way to send out kids like a free blizzard or something for all their birthdays, because what kid doesn't love getting stuff in the mail? And does it turn into business? Maybe, but the purpose is just creating amazing experiences for everyone in the family. You know, we want to celebrate your pets. We want to celebrate your house anniversary. We text you and call you on your birthday. We send you handwritten birthday cards if you're in our Buffini system. We do Popbys. We do 60 Popbys a month of some quirky gifts that we feel like we're driving all over the country for, because we're in a big state, you know, big city, and we have a big coverage area. And we try to do things that are always relevant and then just have funny little catches to them, because we just want to stand out and just let people know, hey, we're here. Even during the pandemic, we put like American flags in people's front yard. We're like, we're staying away from your porch. Don't worry, in case you're really nervous, but we're here for you. Celebrate America, you know, when nobody's around or whatever. And we just want to make sure that, you know, just people know that they always have someone they can reach out to as a resource. Because again, we want people to call us when they're not buying houses, not just when they are. Right. Because a lot of our clients, the majority that make that Buffini, become friends. Yeah. And they know that we're always here for them no matter what it is. And it's not even always real estate. Right. It's a lot of pieces, you know.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So 2 different databases, one of which is just more of a contact management system, and you're switching from Top Producer to Chime for that one, correct? Yes. Mm-hmm. Have you made the switch yet?
We're 5 months in. Yeah. We're also filtering, so it takes a lot of time, and we have, you know, when you have 4,000 contacts, you want to go who's real, who's not. What's, you know, why do I have a phone number and an email address? Or we're also making sure that we have completes, or what we call them, which is phone number, email address if we can get it.
That's just my perfectionism too. I mean, that's part of the reason. I don't think it would generally take everybody 5 months for a transition, but I want to make sure that before we wipe out Top Producer, that everything is perfect in Chime, and then I'll delete it, you know, be done with it. So, okay. But I mean, I think most people can make a transition a lot quicker than.
And we really like the 2 system as well, because our really important people don't get lost in the shuffle. Right. And that's easy if your database really starts to expand over time. It's very easy for people to get lost. You know, if you had 50 phone calls a week and you have 4,000 people in your database, how long does it take to clear through that? You know, before next thing you know, you're a year and a half in before you reach out to people that are important that just slipped your mind. So we like to really hone in on that core group separately. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Why the switch? I've got to ask.
Functionality. Well, a few things. One, you know, we've been growing our group, and we've got some amazing team members, and, you know, we're bringing on admin support, which we've never had before. And the tasking works a lot easier, in our opinion, through Chime, where we can create plans. And I know Top Producer has stuff. They've just been around for a long time, and some of their stuff look the same for 20 years or 15 years. I guess I can't say 20 years, but we're just looking for things that just have a new, easier flow.
More automation.
Yeah, more automation, more connectivity with mobile devices and things like that, where it's just easier to get things done in an efficient manner.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. I love Chime. I've heard really great things about it. To be honest with you, I just haven't spoken to a lot of people that are using it like you guys are. So
Yeah, I do like it. We, kind of like our switch from Android to Mac we were telling you about. A little overwhelming at first, but now that we're used to it, I do like it. I really like Chime.
good. Happy to make the switch. As long as you're using the system, that's all that matters in a CRM.
But that's why, we spend so much on our CRMs, because our CRMs is what a lot of people do for cold marketing, and because our cold marketing budget is near nil.
Yeah, for sure. So you're dripping on them with digital, primarily interaction with that group. And then first of all, I am amazed you have 250 people over in your Buffini system that you stay in close contact with, because to me, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There are certain days in the week, and that it doesn't work. And we've even called, we've called the Buffini team because they're like, focus on your top 100. And I'm like, but if we close more than 100 transactions in a year, what do we do with the other people? It's like, do we just not let them in? So we go through it every 6 months. We kind of have a 6-month rotation. You're in, you're out. I know it sounds harsh, but we are spending a large, denomination of our budget on those people. We want to make sure that it's going to the people that are right. And, just to give you the breakdown, like the first of every month is letters.
Yes.
So we do
send out a
letters to
hard letter.
250. And I say 250, but we just did it. It's 338. It's a little excessive.
But we missed, because of COVID, we missed our last time where we go through everybody. So for now, it's a little bit higher.
And then our second week, we have a newsletter program. What's that called? Do you remember?
I use Home Actions.
Home Actions.
I like it because it's really easy to customize it. But if I forget or get overwhelmed and I can't, then it will auto-generate 5 stories,
So the letters only go out to our Buffini database. The newsletter goes out to our entire 4,000 database.
Right.
Then we do the Buffini e-report, which we send out to the 4,000. And then we do a newsletter again. It's every 2 weeks. And then the 5th week, we kind of take off. And then the only difference for the 5th piece is 60 of our 300 get a Popby every month.
And that's in a rotation. So the Buffini system helps us to rotate that so that we're not leaving people out.
So you're touching them like once a quarter.
Depends on the ranking.
Yeah.
So there's a ranking system in Buffini, which is really, really great. We modified it for our needs because, again, it's not based on transactions and when you closed, it's based on if you're a repeat client or referrals, which it's really based. But for us, the A+ gets touched every 30 days. Yeah. So they get a pop by once a month. And the A's get every 60 days, and they kind of rotate around a little bit. And the people that are B's and below, because we're so robust, unless we went up to 100 Popbys, they probably don't get it as often. They get a lot of the letters and stuff, but those are typically active clients anyways. The way we have it set up, when they close, they move up higher because we're not dealing with them on a daily basis.
Right. So our B's are getting more phone calls, less Popeyes.
Yeah. More time.
Yeah.
Got it. So still dedicated personal attention to them, but a little bit easier for you to manage from a time management.
Right. A lot easier. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, because I'm an overachiever, I'd like to be an A+. What would be my experience with you guys if I was on your A+ list?
Oh, your experience. Well, go ahead. You can take this.
Well, like George says, we're going to be on your doorstep about once a month. You're going to get a fun little pop by from us. If you're an active client and you're an A+ because you're referring us, you're going to get lots of phone calls from us because we're already working with you. You will get a card about every 3 months that rotate. That's a handwritten card, but that's in addition to your birthday card. That's in addition to some kind of house anniversary celebration. And then sometimes just like we had one of our A+ tell us that they had somebody in the hospital, so they got a get well card. So it's some things are just not set by the program. It's just things that we do as well. But we're ultra aware of what our A+ are doing and how we can help them and how we can stay in touch, because they really are not just some of our best clients, but typically some of our best friends as well.
And we love our social media shout outs. So our A+ is also typically put our name out there on social media a lot, which is great because then you get like a Starbucks gift card. We're not doing referrals or anything, but we're doing, hey, if you put our name out there, we'll buy you a cup of coffee. So, and we look at, stuff like that. It's just for thinking about us that, we want to share that love. And the other one of my favorites, for those of our clients, past, current, it doesn't matter that have had a baby. Julie does a great
Oh yeah, we do baby
We
blankets.
send a baby blanket personalized with
Yeah.
their name and their date of birth, and those show up at their door.
Those
And it
are
was
fun.
funny because the group we were using to order the last ones from didn't really say who they were from. So people are like, thanks to whoever sent this, because it was just a really small tag in the corner. Eventually people started figuring it out, but I mean, we didn't do it for any other reason than to share something cool, because we received one with one of our children and they loved it. It had their name on it. We're like, well, that came from a different state, so we're going to steal your idea. And anybody here, feel free to steal your idea as long as you're not in Kentucky.
But not only is it a great gift, like a feel-good gift, but it really is good for marketing too, because I can still tell you who gave us that baby blanket, that gave us the idea to give the baby blanket. So it's something special. People rarely throw away monogrammed baby blankets. If you're going to keep anything, that might be one thing you keep.
Yeah.
So it works on both ends.
I love that. Yeah, it's all about the experience for sure, and how you make them feel, and that you took the time to care enough to send something to them.
Yeah.
And what a huge life moment. I mean, buying a house and having a kid, right? It's hard to top that. Maybe getting married or something, but.
And that stays. The idea of the gift is one, because it is a special moment. We want to stay in that person's life. And then, I mean, from the marketing perspective, at some point, if you have enough kids, you're going to need a bigger house. Obviously, staying top of mind awareness is very important. We don't do that and be like, so you're having a baby, you're moving. But it's just the idea that, hey, it's more for us, and life is more for us than someone else's.
Yeah, I love that. You're in their special moments, and you get to be a part of that by being their real estate professional through that moment. But I think it's really important that you this is a horrible term to say it, but capitalize on the moment and still be present and show them that you still, hey, we're still here.
Right.
So.
And like I said, I think the more it comes from the heart too, the more people recognize that, which is why we don't have just prescribed gifts that we give to everybody. Like, we want to know something about you if you're going to be one of our clients. And then when it comes to gift giving time, usually those are very genuine, individualized gifts.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Popbys, when you're going through them, are you bringing them something? Or are you just saying like the safe COVID wave, like, hey, hope you're doing well? Or what's that look like?
We have gravitated away from knocking on doors. We don't knock on doors as much. One, just a time thing. And then over a while, we realized that sometimes we show up and it's just a little bit, it's not always convenient.
Yeah,
right?
it's bad timing, and
Yeah, and we also work with our group, and sometimes one of our group members may be delivering a Popby for someone that they don't know, and it's somebody we know, or we may be delivering one for somebody we're not really sure exactly who they are or worked with them throughout the whole process. And now we just kind of leave them a little surprise and let them come home and like hang them on their door or try to sneak, and we have fun with it. We do ninja rolls, which is if you want to be an honorary member of our team, you have to like run through somebody's front yard and do a somersault and then hang it without being seen.
Yeah, some kind of ninja roll, a covert ninja roll.
Our kids do ninja rolls. They're like, can we go do Popeyes? Because they want to do ninja rolls in people's front yard, and we record them and put them on social media. Yeah. And people are like, that's my house. And we're like,
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Way to have fun with it too, right? You got to be a little light with everything, not take life so seriously. So I love the ninja roll concept for sure. Things that you're leaving behind. I know people are going to have questions about like the detail component of it. So is it just, I know you do a lot of handwritten cards. Are you guys doing those yourselves?
Yes.
Yep. Julie's writing them, right?
Yes. I do a lot of it.
I was allowed to write it for like the first 2 weeks, and everybody's like, nobody can see what this says.
Can't read his writing.
My fault, I'm out.
So a lot of handwritten cards that get mailed for sure, because everybody likes getting mail as long as it's not a bill.
That's right.
And then the Popup Gifts you're giving, what type of things?
So this one is, I don't think we have one inside, is, like flashlights with little batteries in a bag that we drop. Last month we did like 1 foot, 2 foot tall American flags, and we just put them in next to people's mailboxes. We've done all kinds of like Christmas. We've done miniature whisks and Hershey kisses, and we're like, we whisk you a Merry Christmas. We try to be as just ridiculous as we can.
This is a Popby. It hangs on the door. It has a little card that says, just popping by to say thank you. You brighten my day. Then we have a business card, flashlight, and what are those? Batteries.
Batteries, yeah. We give away oven mitts, and we're like, the real estate market's hot. Grab your phone and call us, or just whatever we can think of. Pinterest is great. The Buffini program has some different stuff. Sometimes we come up with just different things. I mean, I think it's whatever is creative in the moment. So we sit there and we go, what's going on in today's climate? Okay, let's see what we can do here, you know, that will be funny and lasting. And even if it's not something that's even worth anything, just a throwaway, just something to put a smile on somebody's face when they come home, because you never know the stressors, you know, of the day.
And I think that's one of the coolest parts about it too. I mean, in terms of marketing dollars, I never purchase anything that's more than $1.
Yeah.
So like this flashlight and the batteries was $1. The bag, I don't know, you know, $10 for a pack of 60 or something.
Less than $2 a gift.
Yeah.
Easy.
So definitely money well spent.
Doesn't have to be crazy.
Absolutely. So are you, I mean, you kind of touted this a little bit before, but you're using all of your advertising dollars into experiences and your people. Is that right?
Yeah, we have one small lead generation program that we are doing away with because the ROI just doesn't make sense. And, you know, we look, when we have a 5% or a 4% close rate on cold leads and we have a 95% close rate on referrals.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? And, you know, in our office, I get the opportunity to help young people and, you know, agents, young people. And when they come in and they start talking, right, I'm 40 now. When they start talking about the, you know, that they're spending this much on this and this much on this and this much on this. And I'm like, how much did you spend on the people that know you best?
Right.
Like coffees, lunches. And they're like, well, I didn't spend any. I'm like, so you're spending all your time and energy on people that you've never met, you've never talked to, have never referred you or never bought anything, or the people that are your rock stars that will love you and shout your names from the rooftop. You don't even say hi. You just send them I'm in real estate, give my card out.
Like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like cable companies. Like how many times have you been a loyal cable, you know, internet person, and then they keep like increasing the rates on you, right? And we're like, I'm your loyal customer. Why would you do so? It's the opposite way of thinking. You treat the people who are treating you well the best, and then we really just don't put that much time, energy, and effort into people we don't know yet.
I have to switch our moniker from the Un-Realtors to the Un-Cable Company.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Un-Realtors is pretty genius for sure. Oh, too funny. All right. So we've got 2 systems that you're really invested in. Chime is contact management for everybody, your entire and that is so much.
Us or you?
We're losing you. I don't know if you can see us or hear us. Must be us. Oh.
Hey, everybody out there. If we're waiting on Abby, I know she was working on some stuff, so she had to move her office. If you can hear us and you have questions.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Feel free to, because we're the host now. That's really great. Feel free, you know, to reach and add some questions in here, and we'll see if we can help out until Abby gets back. You know, I think one thing she asked us to touch on, because she sent us some questions on the other side. You guys heard the word, the best transaction story. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. You know, is the Un-Realtor approach, and a lot of people have asked, like, what does that really mean? And for us, you know, it kind of came from what was it, Sprite or 7-Up, that they're the Un-Cola, and you know, they're in the market, but they're different than the market. And I think for us, what makes us the Un-Realtor is, one, like we talked about a lot, that it's not about the transaction. I mean, do we sell houses? Yes. Is that how we feed our family? Yes. You know, is that how our team feeds their family? Yes. But what for us that's really important is connecting.
Yeah.
And we look at ourselves
maintaining the relationship.
Yeah, is not just the consultants, which has kind of been a trendy word in a while, but being true connectors in the marketplace. By not only do we have like home warranty companies and loan officers that share our mentality, which is very important, that share our mentality, but title attorneys that share our mentality. But even outside of that, you know, we've got power wash company, anything in the world of real estate, we have connections for.
Mhm.
And then things that aren't even in the world of real estate, like tax professionals and people like that, we have connections for.
People
So we have a
appreciate
number of clients that reach out to us constantly, and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about starting investing in first home buyers. Who do you guys use? And to be able to get that phone call, or who do you guys recommend, I think that really sets us apart from the market and makes us that Un-Realtor, because
doesn't matter if we actually are your realtors or not.
it doesn't matter. It's like
In
we
a
just want to
nutshell.
make sure that, we guide people to making positive decisions, and making positive choices in life. We're also big Dave Ramsey fans. If you guys know who Dave Ramsey is, and we've taught that class, and we've helped people get through the financial piece of well-being, and we try to share that back with all of them.
Yeah. So somebody said, is there a best transaction story you'd like to share?
I have one.
Yes, I was going to say, your story is the best. Yeah, well, of course it's a hero.
Of course it's a hero. So we were best transaction story. So we had not been a part of the Homes for Heroes program for long. And we got a phone call through one of our team, and they, it was a listing, and we went and took the listing. Great deal. Didn't realize much that was going on. And apparently the sellers of this home were getting stationed to Texas, if my memory serves me right. And their agents, when they bought the house, which was a really good friend of ours, sold them on a property that was a soft second that they didn't realize existed. It was an unrecorded soft second. So as we were selling that home,
soft second mortgage.
Yeah, we didn't realize that it had a soft second that was forgivable over 5 years, and they're about 3 years in, 2 years in, and he got restationed. And so all of this comes up, and they're short, and really bad short. And come to find out, to make the story even a touch worse, is one of the higher ups in the unit that he was in was under some investigation for manipulation of money and funds, and they had all been suspended. So because he wasn't active duty at that time, the Foreclosure Prevention Acts did not work for him, and they were getting hammered. And they had a daughter who was going through some medical stuff and ended up having some pretty serious health issues. And so all of a sudden this deal is about to blow up, and we reach out to Kentucky Housing Corporation. I'm sure you guys have different housing corporations, where you guys are. And we told them the story of the Hero program, and they said, that's probably the most incredible thing that we've heard. There's not a lot of Hero reps in our area. And they said, look, we are going to streamline this short sale process for you. And they were like 7,000 upside down. And they said, if they are willing to, hey, welcome to the chat.
Hi,
We're just talking. It's all good. You know how we go. I'll finish this so I don't lose my train of thought. Then you can have it back again. But they said, if you are willing, or if they are willing to sign over their Hero rebate, which was nominal, that they would waive all of their debts and streamline this thing and let these people move and get restationed. And, just, it was incredible. And it's actually one of our favorite pictures, because the husband came home, full uniform, stay-at-home wife was there taking care of their, and they came out, and we love it. It was this amazing picture, and we hear from them whenever they come back into Louisville. But they were just in a bad situation they didn't know anything about, and literally being a part of the Hero program saved a nightmare for them. Which we just shared it, and it's not like we did anything amazing, but the program itself did something amazing. So I hope that worked well for you, Melanie. That's our favorite. We improvised. We didn't know what to do.
We were going to answer the questions.
You are more than welcome to, if you'd like to.
This will be great when you go back and watch it, that you'll understand what happened.
Absolutely.
Software, yes, the software we are using we use the Chime system for our full database, all 4,000, give or take. And then we also use Referral Maker, which is from the Buffini system.
If you watch that, you can get it for like $240 a year. It's a very inexpensive system when it's on sale.
Yeah, and they will also, we said that we send out hard marketing, like letters once a month to our Buffini people. They actually send us those.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
an
a no-brainer.
upgraded.
Yeah,
that's an upgraded portion. You can use their CRM for $240 a year, and I think they're upgraded when they send you a kit of mailers. And we get more than the standard is probably 120, including the CRM a month.
Do you do Popbys by your list or by geographic region?
So we do Popbys stupid, and they are just a Google Doc, and we go, where are we today? What zip code? So again, we're in Louisville. It's the 16th largest city. And that's in Louisville. We also serve other counties surrounding us. So depending on where we are, we don't do the Buffini system where it pulls off 5 at a time, because we could be literally 50 minutes apart from one to one. So we just do 60 on a spreadsheet and just keep clearing them. And then all of us have, sort them by zip code, and all of us have access to look. So when one of us is in an area, we just go, oh, I've got some in my car, and we knock those out really quickly.
We just keep them in our car.
Keep going, you guys. You don't need me for this.
There's no more questions.
Real talk hijacked. Love it. Oh, too funny. Okay, so clearly I missed a little bit, but give me some more information about kind of your, how much time are you investing into following up with your people? Because I know there's a lot of questions going on about that. I'm sure, I mean, our biggest asset is our time, right? It's not necessarily our money. So how much time are you investing into this?
I mean, that's the majority of our time. We make our biggest investments into our Buffini people, and then, you know, a little bit less on the rest of the database. But we just do not spend a lot of time fishing for new leads. Like I said, our new leads, by and large, if they're new and nobody knows who they are, they're coming from a sign. Maybe they're coming from our website. We do have a website that will capture leads. But like George said, the majority are because they heard of us from somebody who has worked with us.
Yeah. And I'd say predominantly 90% of Julie's day is working that side. With having 2 of us, it doesn't make sense that we're always at every showing together, or we're always doing everything. I've been in business a little bit longer, so I typically handle the showing and the contract side, and she works on the retention and the database and the management of that side. And then, you know, like I said, we have an admin, and we have 2 other agents that work with us that, you know, they're doing the same kind of things. I mean, it's a big group effort, and we're constantly looking to grow and, you know, see where life takes us with that. But
and another place that a lot of our marketing dollars go to that we haven't touched on yet is that we do have a huge client appreciation party.
Ridiculous.
This was the first year that we had to cancel it, obviously because of COVID, but it just kind of progressively gets bigger every year. We've done it for about 5 years now, and we invite anybody who's a current client as well as anybody who has closed in a deal in the last year. Well, and like George said, anybody who's in the referral system. So like our big cheerleaders, again, they're going to be there as well. And we hire photography. We, you know, we actually hired a social media person to help us last year because we wanted to be present with our clients and not worried about, are we putting enough on social media, you know, that sort of thing.
And this started just over time, you know, it kind of developed, you know, it started at we have a AAA baseball team here, and it started there on the overlook deck. And, you know, we just invited, say, 100 families and 50 showed up or whatever. And then the next year we invited 125 families, and it just kept growing until we realized that this event didn't make sense for us anymore because of the location. You know, one, you're at a baseball field, so it was hard to connect, and we were doing everything. So we realized we'd run around and we'd do stuff between innings, and we'd look up and we were like, holy crap, there's 2 outs. Like, we got to get ready for the next thing. And you just never really had time to do anything. I think the last year that we had it, it poured down rain.
Oh, it was
the best thing that we did was, like,
the tent went up in the air.
We lost our tent and everything. But, like, I just, like, stopped working and went in the rain and played with all the kids in the puddles. And we got more comments and more stuff with that because it was just kind of, the pictures were amazing. The mentality was great. We just had a blast with it. Our kids show up in their exit gear. Like, everybody's all out. So we decided that we wanted to spend more time connecting and not just throwing a party.
Right.
So last year we rented out a bowling alley, and I think we had 52 lanes of people.
Wow.
We were able to take all of our photos from our closings and run it. And this is what Julie was talking about. We hired a social media person, well worth the money, so Julie could focus on the clients.
Definitely worth the money.
We hired a photographer, again, so Julie could focus on the clients, and the rest of our team. Everybody could just focus on being with people.
We had a DJ, and we had food provided, so we didn't have to worry about that. It was just the less we had to worry about something, then the more time we could spend with clients. And again, we wanted them to, you know, to experience that. It
cost a little more, you know, but the time value of money, where we got to connect with people, you know, I would say from the last 4 client appreciation parties, we've probably averaged 10 to 15 referrals from each event that they've well more than paid for themselves. So we thought, why are we not focusing on them instead of making sure they have a great time? You know, like, you got to turn off party host and just be there and be present. Very cool. You kind of treat your business like that, don't you? Yeah, I think being present with all the clients is super important. I mean, you know, and big kudos to all of us. I mean, for doing that portion and focusing, because it's very easy to let that go.
Yeah.
And
Like we were just at a home inspection. Not all real estate agents go to a home inspection, but again, that just boils down to, I don't want them to be nervous. I want them to feel like they're supported. You know, our whole team feels that way.
And I mean, in our market, it's very common for agents to be there, but in the next market over, which we're also a part of, it's like frowned upon for the real estate agent to be there. Honestly, I don't care. We're there to serve our clients. We want to make sure that they get, you know, the best. So like, what do? Well, we show up, we bring coffee. We bring coffee not only for them, but for the home inspectors, because we just want everybody to be like, you know, relaxed.
That's a great tip too, Bob. Not to interrupt you, but if you can find out what your clients like to drink and then surprise them with them one time, everybody loves that. Because everybody's got their own coffee, you know.
Who doesn't love a good Starbucks? You know, I mean, we'll show up to a meeting, we're like, we brought coffee, and they're like, and when you know what it is, it's very easy to put into the system and just make somebody feel special, because you're taking the time to focus on what's important to them, or what's important, what they like. Yeah.
To get to know them as human beings.
Yeah, because it's not just like, what house are you gonna buy? It's like, what's your preferred Starbucks latte order? You know.
I don't know if this was asked earlier, but how are you acquiring all this detailed information from people? Do you have a questionnaire that they fill out, or?
No, you just pay attention and quit talking.
Well, if we don't know them at all and they're a brand new client, say they're a referral, we do a buyer's or a seller's consultation. And we do try to get some of that information there, but a lot of it isn't like, okay, tell me what your favorite coffee drink is. And I write it down. We just keep our ears open. Yeah. You just have to be aware as you're having these conversations. And I've been known to write stuff on my hand or write it, you know, just text it to myself to remember later to put it in the database. Because there's no way I could remember everybody's kid's name. George couldn't remember everybody's, you know, coffee drink or whatever. But once you grab that information, just take that extra second to put it somewhere, knowing that, you know, this is what relationship building is about.
Yeah. And from being able to teach newer agents, what we've learned a lot is that sometimes people talk a lot when they're nervous, or when they feel like they may be in a situation like with new agents that don't know what they're doing. So they talk to avoid the possibility of questions. You know, as we've been in business for a while, we're more comfortable in that world. And I think that really gives us the ability to just listen. And I meant that, you know, seriously meant what I said in a joking way a minute ago, but like, we just stop talking and focus. You know, we're like, hey, we're stopping for something to drink. What would you like? And then you just have to go, oh, while I'm in the line, put it in their database, or, you know, just connect, find out kids' names, find out things they like or things they love or restaurants or whatever. And then after you close, like, hey, let's go here to eat. You know, and they'll know that you know, and they'll know that you are listening. But if you don't have to spend your whole time focusing on like the what's next or the sale, just being present is so huge. Because I think at the end of the day, we're all just people, and we all just want to feel important. And that goes for clients too.
Yeah. Very cool. I love the fact that you actually bring it for the home inspector too. That was something that came up in our conversations earlier about not just treating your clients like that, but everybody that you're interacting with, whether it's the other agent on the co-broke, whether it's the lender that's taking care of the deal. You guys do special stuff for them too, don't you?
So, you know, it depends on how many closings we have in a given week, but I mean, there's been days that we'll swing through and we just love Starbucks, right? Give me a chance to go get coffee, like whatever. And we know like the drink preferences. And if we don't, we just buy a lot of one thing or just different things. And we'll swing through a title company office and buy 10 drinks and just be like, who wants coffee? Because nobody says no to coffee, right? And we just make sure that, you know, it's just to say, hey, we know you guys are working hard. And we know a lot of people, like myself, I feel like my appreciation is in the world of paychecks, but a lot of people just want to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you ask somebody for that extra mile, you don't feel so bad when they know that, you know, you've always got their back when things are good, you know, and you're appreciative of what they do. So you're like, hey, I need a favor. I try not to ask for much, but can you help me out? And they're much more inclined when they realize that you do care and you don't just want their help when you need it.
Well, and I feel like anybody who's affiliated with Homes for Heroes kind of has a giving heart anyway. And like I said before, we just love to give. You know, this isn't about keeping business, drumming up business, although it does that. We do it because it feels good and it's who we are. And I just want to give. I just want people to feel good who are around me, you know? And I think the majority of people who get into a program like Homes for Heroes can kind of resonate with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping this hasn't been asked yet, and it's kind of a side question for you guys, but you've been in the business long enough that I'm sure there was some mistakes that you've learned over the years and you've had to fail forward a little bit and adjust a little bit. What was one of the bigger ones that made an impact as soon as you changed what you were doing, whether it's your database or maybe a process or a system in general, or just an app, whatever? What was something that you adjusted and it dramatically increased your business for you guys?
I'll go first. Second.
I mean, the thing that popped into my head was doing like the cold marketing and like the door hangers. I can't tell you how many neighborhoods, you know, walking through people. I don't know all the money we spent and the time we spent on stuff like door hangers. Maybe they work for some people. I don't know, but I think it didn't work for us because again, it wasn't genuine. It's not who we are. It's not enjoyable for me in any way, shape, or form to try to capture a lead that I don't even know is interested in buying or selling a home. To some extent, and again, people may disagree with me on that, but booths, they're not my favorite because again, I just feel like you're trying to talk people into, you know, what you're doing. And I think that what we do kind of speaks for itself. And that the longer that you do referral type business, the less you feel that that's necessary. Now, sometimes when you're first getting started, it's a great way to get your initial sphere. But once you have that, I just feel like it's just so much more important to nurture that sphere than it is to keep trying to find new. New's not always better.
I think some of that works, you know, for some people in some markets, and there may be people in our market that it works for. But
Yeah,
what we found out for us is that any festival has between 3 and 5 real estate agencies there. So every festival, sadly, feels like a giant flea market. And it just doesn't have the impact because, you know, in our market, there are 5,000 real estate agents. So we just crossed 5,000 for the first time ever. So that's a lot to compete with. And that's just in our main market, you know, not even our secondary markets. But, you know, and I think Julie's a good point. You know, when I first got licensed, she hadn't even got licensed yet, we hung 1,500 doors with really nothing of substance. But, you know, just going, what else am I going to do today? I don't know, because I don't know anybody. You know, I had moved away. I've been gone for a while, trying to come back. You know, I had no database and no concept of what we were really doing. And then, you know, like she said, we did festivals all the time and wedding shows and stuff, and they just didn't work for us. And you know,
but I wonder, I mean, if you are starting from ground zero, why not take that targeted marketing, you know, at a festival where you don't know anybody, but take that same material and take it to your hairdresser or take it to a coffee shop that you frequent to where there's at least some connection to who you are. I just wonder where we would be today if in those first few years we had even thought about.
Well, I know our business in the last 5 years, and we've had steady growth with the exception of 1 year since 2005. But 5 or 6, I'd have to go back and look, years ago to today, we have quadrupled our business. And a lot of that coincides with, you know, 1, expansion, but 2, you know, having the business mentality that we have and having Julie in place to do her side, because it allows me to do what I do. It allows the rest of our team to do what they do and spend time in the streets and not spend time focusing on, you know, marketing techniques and different things like that. Cause we're really focused on closings and on what we call like autograph collecting, right? Like we're here to collect, you know, signatures and just making sure that we have the time of day to really focus in on, you know, the details of the clients. You know, to answer your question from my perspective, the first mistake I made was probably like within my 5th or 6th house, and I got to buy somebody a refrigerator. And I'll never forget that because on the contract, I wrote refrigerator to remain. So they left the fridge in the garage that was garbage and not the really, 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 really expensive one in the house. And I just had to own it. And, you know, that was my mistake. But what it really boiled down to was paying attention. And you really start to focus in on, oh, you really have to focus on some of the details. And it's not just on the contract side, but on the client side to make sure that you have understanding, because things happen, I mean, over the years, and you just take ownership of it. But when something like that happens, it scares the crap out of you, so you don't mess up something bigger than a fridge, you know what I mean? Leave off a 0. I don't
know. I'm getting hives just thinking about that for you guys right now. Okay, a couple quick questions before I don't have questions coming through. So if you guys have them, I might rely on you to do that.
You decided to take a break. We'll have to see if there's more. I don't know.
Too funny. But 2 things. what was your approach to growing your team first? I mean, because you've grown from a single agent to actually having a team now.
We are slow.
We are
growers.
slow. Like for us, and there's a lot of teams in our market that are just like turn them and burn them. They come in, they grab all these raw leads, they feed them until they burn out, and then the agents go off and do what they want. That's not really our MO. Our first team member was Julie. And then once she got licensed,
Took me like 25 years.
Yeah, it took her 10 years to get a real estate license. She was doing work in the background. And then, Jennifer came on as a part-time agent, and she was, coming out of a direct sales.
But she was actually an agent that we worked with in our brokerage, and we worked with her for a good year and a half. And, it was just a bunch of late night conversations between him and I. What do you think? I think she's got potential. What do you think? And then once Jennifer was a part of the team, it took us almost another whole year before the same thing happened with Kelly. And Kelly turned us down first.
She turned us down, and then she finally came back around. And they've both done amazing things. And we just believe in the power of growth in that way. But we want people that has the mentality, because you got to understand, when you're joining a team like ours and you have a program like Homes for Heroes, they've got to understand what that means. Because if they're just an agent, they come in, they go, wait, I have to send off what? And we're, and ours is, there is no question. If we have to think if they're a hero or not, they probably are, because there's so many different things. Like we had one that came through today, and we were like, oh, I've never even heard of that job. But if they have patient contact, that's kind of the mentality with us in the healthcare world. And, so we just need to make sure that people understand that and have that heart, because we do not believe that we're a team that is here to just train some people to learn a little bit from what we do and then go off. That's not our goal. Like, we want people that we can grow with, and as I step back and Julie steps back, that they can step up and take over a team and look for some, longevity. Like we want family, and not just people that we can train. And I mean, last year we do a thing for Christmas, and we invited them and their families, and we took over a restaurant and had Christmas dinner together with our family and their families, because that's just who we are. If they need something personal life, it's not just business. Like, we're here for you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, again, not to sound repetitive, but just how we run our business is how we want our team to run as well, which is a relationship.
And they are 100% the same. If we need something, they're there for us, period.
Awesome. Strong bonds. It definitely helps you build a business as well, when you know that they can take care of what you would normally take care of the way that you take care of it. So I think that's really, really important for you guys. But, and then the other thing, did I miss anything? Was there anything else that you wanted to share?
We went through kind of the Un-Realtor. We looked at some, just some early questions. I think one fun thing that we did, if you guys are still in some level of lockdown recently, we had to cancel our client appreciation party, but we found a drive-in.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And we talked to the drive-in, and we were able to find, was it carload day or whatever?
50 cars.
We sponsored 50 cars of people, as many as you can stuff in the trunk. It doesn't matter. They're not counting heads. It was all about carloads. And we just put it out there. And it wasn't just to our clients. It was our social media page. And we're like, hey, if you and your family need a break, come on. And let's have fun.
And it was great because you could socially distance, and it was outdoors, and it was a neat, I'm not sure that we'll ever do it again. I think because of COVID, it just seemed like the perfect scenario for something like that.
It was cool to see, 50 carloads of people that we knew, most of them, not even all of them that we knew. They just followed us for whatever reason. Came out and just got to spend some time with their family while we got to spend time with our family. And it all came from a night that we went out with our family. We're like, this is fun. Other people should do this. Well, if they don't know about it, let's help them know about it. And next thing you know, we're sponsoring a night. So, well,
bonus too, the drive-in owners let us put our
logo
up on the big screen, so it was like our debut. I was like,
first time we've ever been movie stars in our life.
How cool. I love that idea, especially right now when we're having to all learn and adjust to what we're experiencing, for sure. Well, you already answered my rapid fire question number 1, so I'm not going to ask you that one. Which is usually, what piece of advice would you give to a new agent, which you nailed that already. Rapid fire question number 2, and you guys can each answer if you want to, but what's your favorite book?
Oh gosh. I wasn't ready for that one.
I'm a big fan of Well Done.
Of what?
Well Done.
Well Done.
Yeah, it's the same that, it's one of the thin books that's, I oh my gosh, I went blank on the name. It's kind of like a Who Moved My Cheese style book.
Okay.
But it goes over SeaWorld and how they do client experience and client interaction. I just love to read. I mean, usually for me, the quicker the better, but I'm always reading something business.
Yeah. I'm actually, I don't know what my favorite one is, but I'm reading one right now that's called Story Jacking. And it's about, have you seen it? Amazon recommended it to me. But it's just talking about the stories that we tell ourselves, and a lot of it is, you know, subconscious, and how you can story jack that and change your future by, you know, the things that you're telling yourself. So I like those. You know, I do have a social work background, so I like those psychology, you know, books and things like that. Anything that like self-improvement, I love those.
Very cool. I do too. So I'm going to have to write that one down for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then last, I kind of feel like we're on the newlywed game with this kind of question, but we won't get too personal, but what's your favorite room in your house?
Favorite room?
Mm-hmm.
You go first.
I like the kitchen. I love to cook. We actually knocked down our kitchen wall a few years ago so that it was open and I can, you know, still see what the kids are doing. And as my kids are getting older, I'm teaching them how to cook, but I love the kitchen.
I probably spend most time in the office, but I'm really digging. We are slowly transitioning into a theater room in the basement where we have what we call family dinner movie nights. And we have 4 kids. So for us, it's very important that on Sundays at say 5 o'clock, we shut our phones down and we have dinner and then we go watch a movie. And the way we do it, and highly recommend this to all your people too, is we rotate whose choice it is. So like last week was my choice. I choose dinner, I choose dessert, I choose the movie. Nobody can say anything.
Yeah.
Then
There's
the next
no
week,
grumbling allowed.
That's right. So we go downstairs and we watch a movie and then everybody, you know, crashes off to bed. And it's usually good until our 4-year-old gets a night. And then it's like frozen hot dogs, macaroni and cheese. You
Every
know,
time.
it's the plate of orange and, you know, frozen or something like that again. But it's just cool because everybody looks forward to it and it's a chance to be family.
It's my week, by the way. You looking forward to it? He hates my movies. I like musicals.
I like musicals. You just like the girly musicals.
That's so funny. So fun. Do you know what movie you're going to pick?
Hamilton. Is it PG or PG-13? That's the one
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but
that's what I'm looking at. That's what it's going to be as long as it's PG, but we still have the little ones. So gotta be PG. Otherwise I'll find a different musical.
They like The Greatest Showman and different musicals because they'll sit down there and sing and then they'll sing it all week long. So it's a blast.
that's so cool. I love that. I love both those answers, but definitely the movie night. I think that's a fantastic idea. And to shut your phones down and actually take some family time. Like who knew you could do this in this industry, but you definitely do it. And with 4 kids.
Fast. You got to.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, do you guys see any questions rolling through that you didn't get to before?
I've got geographic software. Nope. I see 3 questions in there. Anybody else has anything? Fire away.
Perfect. Well, you guys are open books. You are clearly on social media. So if there's other questions that you have, if you're an affiliate, ask them in the affiliate group. We'll just tag you guys or check them out on Facebook and social media and follow them. Ask them there.
Talk to Julie because I'm
never
never
Exit
on there.
Green Team. Facebook /Exit Green Team.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for hijacking my show while I, took a little siesta there in the middle.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah, we were like, there's 30 seconds of confusion, and then we're like, all right, well, I don't know.
You rolled with it. It's good that there were 2 of you too, which is a little bit easier than just talking to yourself. So good for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for just sharing with everybody. We are off for Real Talk with Homes for Heroes next week, but we'll be coming to you in 2 weeks, Wednesday at noon Central Time, as usual, with a very special guest. I think Jim McKinnis is joining us, which you guys know, Jim. He's just like you guys. He's amazing. So we appreciate your time. And thank you everybody else who's joined us on Real Talk with Homes for Heroes. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.